Warning: the following workplace horror stories are true. Names of individuals and companies, employees and employers have been changed to protect all involved. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Just Be Glad You Have a Job. My name is Johnny Dunn.
And I am Damon Rico. Have you ever driven into work and beat the hell out of your steering wheel just so you could get a release before you walked in?
Have you ever got on your hands and knees and begged your boss to fire you and were upset when they didn't?
Have you ever wished your boss would catch their spouse fucking their child and die in a DUI accident out of grief?
Have you ever wanted to send your boss a DVD of their daughter in a gangbang?
Have you ever wanted to lunge over the desk and strangle the person next to you with a mouse cable?
If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then this is the show for you.
We are here to deliver true accounts of workplace horror stories from subscribers just like you.
There are many reasons we do this: to give you a laugh, to give you a release,
But above all else, to show you that if you've had enough, you are not alone. Here's the first story. When you work a customer service gig, you unfortunately deal with a high percentage of assholes. What else is new? So, when you get a customer who treats you as they want to be treated, you obviously want to take care of them as best you can. I had one such customer who paid for a service from me that I was unable to provide due to a clerical error on my company side. Again, what else is fucking new? Since I had already accepted payment, I had to call my corporate office to undo it. God help me. All this guy wanted was his check back, which I was happy to give to him. However, the empty suit I had on the other side of the phone said I couldn't do this because they needed the actual check for an audit trail. They could put a credit on his account, or they could cut him a new check, dealer's choice. But neither could be done on the spot. Both would need a few days. This guy had just driven through a severe storm from across the state to conduct a business transaction, and now, not only could I not provide the service expected, but now I could not return his money. I remember thinking I couldn't believe this bullshit as I explained it to him, and he understandably got upset. The worst part about it was that I was about to lose a valued customer while the asshat in the corporate tower just didn't give a fuck. After a few minutes of this bullshit, I decided to give the asshat a reason to care. I told the guy, "You explain that to the customer." He then responded, and I could hear the seething anger in his voice. "I just explained it to you." "Yeah, well, he's not interested in hearing it from me. He's been a valued customer, and I'm happy to just give him his money back, so you tell him why I can't do that," and handed the phone off to him. I was done. I don't care if I pissed off corporate. I'm tired of the guys who don't have to do the day-to-day grunt work, making it so much harder for those of us that do. Instead of just giving this guy his check back, I've now made him a disgruntled customer who could just put a stop payment on the check just to be a dick to us and then take his business elsewhere, which is exactly what I would do. Now, 5 ways the smoldering cockholster at the corporate office could redeem himself in the eyes of the Just Be Glad You Have a Job audience. Number 1. Chop the nearest toner cartridge open and don't stop chopping lines and snorting them until your fucking lungs explode. Number 2. Personally fillet the customer while humming the school anthem of whatever college taught you that having an audit trail is more important than keeping the customer happy. Number 3. Reload the nearest stapler, open it up, and sling the staple chamber into your face until one lobotomizes you. Number 4. Place your head on the skin area of your office copier and slam the door on your head at full force until you die of cerebral hemorrhaging or blood loss from shattering the glass on the scan area. Last but not least, number 5. Go to the rooftop of that ivory tower and jump off ass first while aiming for the flagpole. There are the top 5 ways to redeem yourself, you fucking asshole.
Slim Jim writes this: "Before I begin, let me just state that I have worked at the same place for 8 years. Now, I've never complained about anything, but in the 8 years that I've worked there, I have never had a raise, a promotion, or a vacation. Up until a couple of months ago, the dispatcher who controlled my work was somebody who had been in the business a long time. However, the owner unasked her to have his 19-year-old son take over. Needless to say, this kid is on a power trip. In describing him, he looks just like his father, by which I mean he looks like a fat version of Sean Penn from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Therefore, for the duration, he will be referred to as Fat Spicoli Jr., his father, Fat Spicoli Sr. Now, I'm divorced, and I get one weekend a month with my kids. Not the perfect situation, but it is what it is. Now, the kid who's on a power trip and I get into a dick measuring contest over something that was so minuscule that I can't even remember what it was about. So to be a prick, Fats Spicoli Jr. changes my schedule, making me work the weekend that I am supposed to be with my kids. Obviously, this is not kosher, so I go to the manager who tells me, and I quote, "Fuck your kids," unquote. Now, I know that I am supposed to give a shit about my work, give a shit about my job, etc., etc. However, after this particular incident, I no longer care. I do not care anymore. They can fire me tomorrow. I will have a job within 24 hours. And that's Slim Jim's story. Well, Slim Jim, it's nice to see that you had the confidence to know that you could get a job within 24 hours. Right when everything went straight to hell in 2008, I was able to find 2 jobs at the same time. So I will be the first one to tell you that the jobs are out there. So knowing that you have the confidence to go out there and say, I'll have another job tomorrow, that's awesome to me. But we're here to focus on the problems at hand. First of all, nepotism. Why are we putting our 19-year-old son in a position that was held by a veteran of X number of years beforehand? Second of all, power tripping. 19-year-old kids are not qualified to be managers. I'm sorry, there's just no other way around it. I was a kid, I had a managerial position, I was unqualified for it, and I'll be the first one to admit that you gotta cut your teeth and make your bones in the real world before you can actually supervise. Learning shit secondhand from either your family or a school book does not count. So, Fats Spicoli Jr., you have fucked up by default. Fats Spicoli Sr., you have fucked up because you have placed Fats Spicoli Jr. in the position of power. But this is Just Be Glad You Have a Job, and we are here to help as always. Therefore, 5 things that you can do to redeem yourself in the eyes of your former or soon-to-be former employee and the Just Be Glad You Have a Job movement. Item number 5. Fats Spicoli Sr. must sacrifice Fats Spicoli Jr. via a Mayan sacrificial knife to the tune of Slayer's Rain in Blood. Because, as we all know, Spicoli was a hippie, and the anti-hippie device is the copy of Slayer's Rain in Blood. Item number 4. Utilize the nearest staple remover to give yourself a home vasectomy. Therefore, no further Fats Spicolis will be spawned. Because, as we all know, 1 Fats Spicoli is 1 too many. You have 2 in the same building. It should be firebombed. Item number 3. Firebomb the building with Fats Spicoli Jr. and Fats Spicoli Sr. Item number 2. Give yourself subdural cerebral hemorrhaging with the nearest keyboard. And item number 1. Fillet a shotgun blast to orgasm and grow old on the ceiling. Thank you for tuning in to Just Be Glad You Have a Job. My name is Johnny Dunn. We hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have enjoyed making it. And as always, if you think your boss is an asshole, proceed to be a dick. Because as we all know, it is much better to be the dick in this scenario than it is to be the asshole. Thank you and good night.